Mr. Green, take your seat. Take your seat, sir. Take your seat. Finding that members continue to engage in willful and concerted disruption of proper decorum, the chair now directs the Sergeant-at-Arms to restore order. Remove this gentleman from the chamber. Members are directed to uphold and maintain decorum in the House. Mr. President, you continue.
Thank you.
You guys, it just keeps getting worse. I keep thinking that it can't get worse, and then it gets worse. You know how we're already talking about how embarrassing it was that the Democrats were so useless last night at the State of the Union with their little, we're going to be the pink ladies from Greece. Look at our little ping pong paddles. This is the resistance, folks. And while they did nothing to protest, Al Green, Representative Al Green from Texas, who is the only one that did, who actually got up and said something and got kicked out of the hall, they want to censure him. Yeah, Democrats want to censure him for protesting. It's like they don't realize that they're supposed to be the opposition to the Trump administration. Some Democrats aren't ruling out voting for Representative Dan Newhouse's resolution to censure Green for breach of property conduct. Every single one of them should have been doing that. The fact that he was the only one and they didn't all get up and follow him, this is insane. This is your pathetic resistance. The Census House Democrat who spoke on the condition of anonymity, because of course you did, you coward, so that what Green did was inappropriate. He became the story, not the price of eggs. Why don't you dumb motherfuckers understand how politics works? Why don't you understand that? Not the price of eggs. First of all, you guys wouldn't be able to do an effective job talking about the price of eggs if your lives depended on it. If your next lobbying check depended on it.
Boy. So once again, we got to talk about Democrat Congressman Al Green, who looks like he walked out of the Smithsonian into Congress. Okay, this guy looks like he belongs in a museum. Okay, I like to call this man Homo erectus. He doesn't shoot guns, he throws rocks. Okay, I'm pretty sure this man is concealed carrying a slingshot. I would be surprised. This man should be filming a Geico commercial, right? Instead of being in Congress. But anyways, Homo erectus. He is being censured for his antics in Congress, disrupting President Trump because President Trump gave a speech that he didn't like, okay? And he decided to make a clown out of himself, right? He decided to humiliate the Democrat Party as a whole. And he has faced a whole lot of backlash, even from Democrats, as a result of his antics.
David, can I just, one other thing he said towards the end, he said, talking about Butler, and he talked about Mark Fogel and his mother being there, and how she'd come up at the rally, and that's why he had spent this time to free her son from prison. And then he said, I was saved by God, talking about being shot in Butler, to make America great again. I believe that. Now, the New York Times says at that moment, Nancy Pelosi leans over to Steny Hoyer and goes, oh, my God. What is a moment like that?
I'm sure that's an emotional moment that connected with a lot of people. I just want to, 160 years ago tonight, Abraham Lincoln gave his second inaugural address. He said, with malice toward none, with charity for all, with firmness in the right as God gives us to see the right, let us strive on to finish the work we are in, to bind up the nation's wounds. What a different spirit that was. And that was after a civil war. So it's one thing to mine our differences. It's another thing to try and heal our differences. And that is, that's the difference between real leadership and political expediency.
Would it have been healing to stand for Mark Fogel? Might have been.
No, I agree. You are absolutely right,
DJ
Scott.
Johnson.
I will do what you will not. I will say, I think there were times when they should have risen. I think what Al Green did was despicable. I liked Alyssa Slotkin's speech. I think that's where Democrats should go. That doesn't obviate the fact that you shouldn't exploit our differences. You should try and solve problems and heal our differences. I don't see that inclination on the part of this president.
And then you have some Democrats in Congress who were defending Al Green as the House considered the motion to have him censured.
Republicans jump into action after someone has the guts to stand up and call BS. Less than 24 hours later, and here they are on the floor with an emergency censure to soothe Donald Trump's fragile ego. I have never seen them leap into action so fast in my life. It was overnight. Meanwhile, their own voters are getting hurt by this administration, and it's radio silence. They can't even be bothered to lift a finger to do a town hall.
And then we have Al Green himself on the House floor, basically expressing no remorse whatsoever for the clown show that he put on during President Trump's joint address.
And I did it with intentionality. The president indicated that he had a mandate. I said to the president, you do not have a mandate to cut Medicaid.
I just love how Democrats keep pushing these lies, bro. Right? They keep pushing these lies. The Republicans are cutting Medicaid. Well, how can you say that when the Republican budget is not even decided yet? Right? Nowhere in the budget does it say, oh, they're cutting Medicaid. Now, what they're afraid of is that Republicans are going to make people actually work in order to get health care, right? That's what they're actually afraid of, which, Lord forbid, you can't make people actually work to get health care, okay? No. Democrats want everybody living off the system, regardless of whether or not you work, okay? Or whether or not you're able-bodied and you can work. No. Everybody should get access to Medicaid and health care because health care is a human right. And, to me, it's just one of those things where it really shows you how the Democrat Party is an unserious party. Their solution to literally everything is just, hey, let's just have the government fund everything, right? Let's not incentivize people to go to work or to actually contribute to the system. No, let's just allow people to not work and they can get their health care, they can get food stamps, they can get all the government assistance, rental assistance, they can get all that stuff, right? At this point, there is no reason to work when Democrats are in charge, right, at all. Because they'll just use other people's money in order to subsidize your lifestyle, right? Again, this is just something that Democrats are doing in order to falsely smear the Republicans as wanting to cut Medicaid and Social Security when that's simply not the case, okay? Those programs, the honest to God truth is that they need reform, okay? And if we're going to actually rein in the deficit and the debt in this country, we have to have serious conversations about those programs. We also have to have serious conversations about the Pentagon as well, too, in the defense budget, okay? And that's the one thing I like about President Trump is that he has had conversations about, hey, you know what, maybe we should look at the Pentagon. So it's not like one of these things where we're only looking at the so-called entitlements and we're not looking at the defense budget. No, we're looking at everything, okay? We're looking at everything. And requiring people to work in order to receive health care, I don't think is unreasonable. But again, Democrats apparently do.
Constituents who need Medicaid. They will suffer and some will die if they don't get Medicaid. I heard the speaker when he said that I should cease. I did not, and I did not with intentionality. It was not done out of a burst of emotion. I was emotional about it, but I did it with intentionality. I think that on some questions of conscience, you have to be willing to suffer the consequences. And I have said I will. I will suffer whatever the consequences are because I don't believe that in the richest country in the world, people should be without good health care. I stood up for my constituents then. I'm standing up for my constituents now. I am grateful to Mr. McGovern for what he has said. I'm grateful to those who have been standing with me. But I will tell you, I appreciate you. No anger. The officers who escorted me out, they were kind to me. I don't blame the speaker for anything. Friends, I would do it again. I have to be candid with you. I'm not trying to in some way insult you. This is a matter of principle. This is a matter of conscience. There are people suffering in this country because they don't have health care. I'll close with this. On some issues that are matters of conscience, it is better to stand alone than not stand at all. This is where I stand.
Yeah. So again, the problem with this is that President Trump, the Republicans, they haven't cut Medicaid, right? They haven't indicated that they're cutting Medicaid. They're saying, hey, we want the states to take on more responsibility, and we want more work requirements, right? We want people to actually, work in order to receive the benefits, okay? Which apparently is a very controversial idea from Democrats. So eventually, this guy was censured, and honestly, it's kind of surprising. You had quite a number of Democrats that voted to censure this guy, to punish him, to give him a strongly worded condemnation, right, denouncement of his actions. And then Democrats proceeded to embarrass themselves on the House floor after this guy was censured. Take a look.
Is that he will call Congressman Green to the well. Oh, there we go. Let's listen in.
To answering present. The resolution is adopted. Without objection, a motion to reconsider is laid on the table. The House will come to order. The House will come to order. Shh. Will Representative Green present himself to the well? By its adoption of House Resolution 189, the House has resolved that Representative Al Green be censured, that Representative Al Green forthwith present himself in the well of the House of Representatives for the pronouncement of censure, and that Representative Al Green be censured with public reading of this resolution by the Speaker. The House will come to order. The House will come to order. What's it?
You want to let him keep doing this, or until the clear?
The House will come to order. Clear the well, please. Clear the well. The House has to continue its business. Just say the House is in recess. Pursuant to Clause 12A of Rule 1, the House will stand in recess, subject to the call of the chair.
Some breaking news we've been following. It has to do with Texas Congressman Al Green. The House has now voted in favor of an official reprimand for his disruption of the president's joint address to Congress, and several Democrats voted with Republicans to censure him. But then things went off the rails a bit.
That's right. This all comes after President Trump. He was trying to give his speech. Al Green disrupted that. Congressional correspondent Kilmany Dukart is live at the Capitol with the fallout from that and what happened here today. Kilmany.
Yeah, John and Emma, just moments ago, the House voted to censure Texas Congressman Al Green after his outburst during President Trump's State of the Union. The final vote on that tally was 224 lawmakers in favor, 198 against, 2 members voting present, including Al Green himself. There were 10 Democrats that voted with Republicans to, again, censure Al Green for his actions on the House floor on Tuesday evening, something that I was a direct witness to, sitting in the press gallery right behind the president, watching a remarkable scene unfold as a shouting match ensued with Democratic Congressman Al Green that continued until he was finally removed from the House chamber floor. Now, those 10 Democrats who voted along with Republicans were Amy Barra, Ed Case, Jim Costa, Laura Gillen, Jim Himes, Chrissy Houlihan, Marcy Kaptur, Jared Moskowitz, Marie Glueson, Cam Perez, and Tom Suozzi. So quite a few of them admonishing this behavior during the president's address on Tuesday evening, a joint address to Congress. Now, really important to note that a censure is just a formal way of rebuking a member for their actions. This doesn't mean that Congressman Green is going to lose any rights or privileges as a House member. It doesn't discontinue his time as a member either. But this is a big, big message. And I think it was quite unprecedented what we all witnessed on Tuesday evening. This was a huge protest among Democrats. I personally witnessed very few Democrats, actually almost no Democrats, stand when the First Lady of the United States took her seat in the House chamber in the upper deck, and also when President Trump took to the Speaker's dais to begin his address and walked down the floor as is customary and part of the ceremony of any joint address to Congress. I think there's also just been fallout in the aftermath of this from Democrats that are really not on the same page and are not singing from the same song sheet when it comes to how to combat the message when it comes to Trump's policies.
Yeah, Kilmeny, it looked disorganized, kind of a sad attempt to protest in a way, but you're holding up little paddles. It wasn't that effective, quite frankly.
This is a really sad day for our institution. What Representative Al Green did in the midst of the president's speech as our honored guest to the chamber was disrupted. He did it intentionally, as everyone saw. I gave him plenty of warnings, and he refused it. It was a deliberate action. It needed to be met with swift punishment. That's the tradition of this place, to maintain decorum. And so that's what we just did. The resolution passed on the House floor. There were 224 votes in favor of censuring him for that behavior. 198 Democrats voted against it. I can't believe that. 2 votes present. So I think we had 9 Democrats join us in this bipartisan measure that we took. And it was critically important, Bill, because we have to maintain the dignity of this place. We're the greatest deliberative body in the history of the world. There's a deep and rich tradition here, and it is violated. To our understanding and our review of history, that was the first time that any member of Congress has ever had to be removed in the middle of a presidential address, and it's shameful.
Yeah, so surprisingly, you had 10 Democrats join in on this, okay? And, I think that these Democrats made the right move, because what Al Green did was not acceptable. He was removed, which that's the main difference, because they keep bringing up, well, Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert, they heckled Joe Biden. Well, they weren't removed, right? They weren't removed for causing a continuous disturbance like Al Green, okay? Al Green stood up. He made a clown out of himself. He would not shut up. He would not stop heckling the president. And that's why he was removed. And that's the difference. And that's why he is being censured, which, honestly, at the end of the day, does censuring actually really matter? Let's be real. It's just a formal, hey, we don't like the fact that you did that. But, they're not really punishing him like that. I actually think that the GOP should go further, right? I think they should strip him of his committee assignments, right? You know what they did to Marjorie Taylor Greene for things that she said before she even got into Congress? Yeah, I think that the GOP should consider punishing Al Green even more. I think that this is the minimum that they should do, right? Because effectively, this doesn't really do anything. It's just effectively a strongly worded letter, which is what the GOP specializes in, unfortunately. I would like to see more punishment, but regardless, hey, individuals like this, if Democrats want to make them the leader of their party, right? They want to rally around the clown show of Jasmine Crockett, Al Greens, et cetera. If they want to rally around those individuals, fine, be my guest, okay? Because ultimately, it's just going to result in the Democrats losing more support, right? And they barely have any support right now. So, hey, let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.